So we have 10 common issues that are observed, or quite common when we're doing IT due diligence. My name's Hutton and I'm the founder of Beyond M&A. We work with VC, PE and corporate investors, helping with due diligence and post-deal advisory. This is a bit of a long video because there are 10 issues and we want to talk about how to remediate them as well. But the number one issue in every single business of any size is the ability to see a clear return on investment. So if you put it yourself in the investor's shoes, they're going to get a view X amount of £1,000,000 or dollars. And it's quite hard for us as people coming in to assess that if we put X amount of money in, we're going to see certain features being delivered and some expected return on investment. So we already know that you can do financial accounts because you've already done some financial modeling for the overall fundraise or buyout. But we need the product roadmap to be rationalized and stated, around how much you think per feature is going to generate for your business. So that's number one. And number two is wage inflation. Obviously, with post-COVID, if I'm allowed to say that, then really this is a problem that every company is seeing, regardless of IT due diligence or tech DD. The thing is we're seeing is that wage inflation is not evident in the financial forecast. And we have no plans in there to work out how we help incumbent staff who are probably going to be on lower wages than the new staff coming in. And the last thing is really about unrealistic hiring plans. So, how do we solve that? Create a target operating model, and in your financial plan, make sure you've accounted for wage inflation. Then a very popular subject in technology, right, is tech debt. So number one problem, no one in the team is actually accountable for looking at technology debt. Does it have to be the CTO? Well, it'd be great if it's in the CTO's DNA, but if there's no one responsible, no one's responsible, right? And there's no evidence of prior housekeeping. So we look at what you've been doing over the last couple of years and we can't see that tech debt being eradicated. And then just a lack of rigor when bringing in new components, selecting new parts of your tech stack. There are so many ways to deal with this, but really what we're looking for as assessors is really, is it within your DNA, and how are you going to address this going forwards? Serial entrepreneurs. Obviously, the entrepreneurs are not the issue. What we're really looking for is if this is a business that's been spun up to flip, which is perfectly fine. What's the intention of that venture and how sustainable is it? How sustainable is the platform? We have encountered and advised a re-platform of a very good, of very good businesses. And so that's just simply because sustainability is not high on the agenda. We've also seen this in M&A as well, where, corporates have bought much smaller companies for, really as an acqui-hire and to get the idea, and just having to rebuild from scratch. Buzzword bingo. So, AI, ML, big data, whatever it's going to be in the pitch deck. But, is it really currently in the product? And usually the issue is that the idea is there. I've seen it quite a lot in health tech as well, is the idea is there and we just can't get enough access to the data to bring our AI to light. Now, the whole point of you getting investment or a buyout or whatever you're going through is to get some more resources. So we are very aware that things won't be perfect, but please be honest and let us know where things are, because it just increases your credibility and it also helps us work out how we can present this to your investor who may see it as an opportunity. Architectural opaqueness. So really an inability to articulate how your architecture operates. So, we might be in a deep dive, but we keep very high level, and and it might sort of lean towards someone else in the team, or someone that's left has built it. It doesn't really matter. We just need to make sure that before you go through DD, you are prepared on being able to present or whiteboard or have diagrams, however you want to do it. And number one tip would be to make sure that you practice in front of your team. Professional services. Now, there's a sort of uncertainty because obviously the utopian view of SaaS is to have something that's fully self-serve. And so, you go on, you log in, and you do everything yourself. But just for some companies, it's just not the way it goes. And we're not going to see that negatively. We just have to see what your vision is. And in some businesses, there needs to be that human interaction. I can think of two immediately, one in B2B enterprise, and also B2B in sort of much smaller businesses. And in both cases, there needs to be that human touch. So maybe you have to be proud of that rather than trying to eradicate it. Of course, there is a utopian view of having fully scalable technology. I'm not saying to go against that, but just build what's right for you and your customer and market. And then we have poor IP protection. So, it can be something like your basic assets, like your brand and logo, and just not having trademarks in place. But even things like not having IP agreements between your dev staff and the company, no NDAs, even, just not backing up your data and code. So, think that, the cloud is not enough. Make sure everything's right. I mean, legal DD will look at this better than we will, but they will just give us an indicator of where your focus has been over the last couple of years. And free cloud credits. We have these as well. We have a product, and it's fantastic to be given those. Ours are from Microsoft. Most come from AWS. And really, just having that financial model that shows us what life will be like with those cloud credits in, but also if you were to suddenly lose them, how much you're going to be spending on technology, and also as a ratio of your entire business, how much is your tech stack. If we see that go over 25%, we have to start to seriously think about the viability of the business. Poor resilience, single points of failure in companies of all sizes that we look at. And what we find is that the tech team are aware of these concerns. They are things that keep the CTO up at night, but typically the board or senior leadership team have been informed but have forgotten, or they're just simply not aware of the risk. So I'd like you to think of IT or tech due diligence, bringing these types of issues to the table so that you can get the resources and funding, whatever you need to resolve these problems. So that's the top 10 common problems we see. Obviously, there are very unique ones to every specific company we work with, but I try to generalize and give you a broad brush on things that you can look at prior to anyone like us coming in beforehand. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us on the details below.